By the way, that's the thing with this new revival of boxing, and it's not the sport that's dead. And I keep telling all those novices out there that boxing is not dead. It's as hot as it's ever been. You have some major fights on the networks every 2 weeks, whether it's Fox, FS1, or Top Rank in their streaming network with ESPN, or Matchroom and DAZN now. That's very, very busy. Showtime. HBO's out of the picture. We know that. They're done. But that didn't mean anything because others picked up the slack. The sport is hot. Some major fights are going to be occurring in the next few months. And I'm pretty sure you're going to hear soon about the inevitable rematch for the heavyweight title. And that be Deontay Wilder again against Tyson Fury, which was a dandy the first time, and I know I want to, and a lot of boxer fans want to see that again. But the sport has gone more towards the streaming route. The complexion has changed. Pay-per-view is still alive, not as strong, and it's going to take some marquee fighters. A guy like Manny Pacquiao tonight, for example, is pay-per-view. You want to see that. And, of course, Canelo Alvarez is on the streaming network now. And is there an advantage to the streaming networks as opposed to the pay-per-view? Yes, there is. Because you're not spending $74, $80 to watch a fight like you would do tonight. You spend a subscription service, whether it be $9, $10 a month, or a little more than that, and you get your plethora of fights. You'll just constantly see boxing on the streaming networks. And I think that's the route the business is taking and will continue to go that route down the line this year and the years to come. There's a lot of money in that. The promoters make money with it, and the fans are basically happy because they don't have to shell out $74, $80 for a pay-per-view like they would tonight with Pacquiao and Adrian Broner. But pay-per-view is far from dead. The promoters do feel that if you're going to put two premier fighters together, that's pay-per-view material. Example would be a Terrence Crawford against an Earl Spence Jr. Now, the complexity of that, of course, two different promoters, rival networks and things like that. But hey, they did that 3 years ago or so with Pacquiao and Mayweather. They were able to pull it off. Fans wanted to see the fight. They eventually got it. And they'll eventually come to terms and give the fans what they want, the fights that they want to see. Streaming network or pay-per-view. Most likely pay-per-view for fights like that. So pay-per-view is not completely dead. It's diminished. And you need, again, two marquee great fighters that will generate that revenue. Mayweather Pacquiao a second time will generate revenue, but again, will not break records, surpass, or come anywhere close to the first one in May of 2015. But it's definitely going to happen. So boxing is hot. And again, tonight, my pick, Jack to retain his title, and Manny Pacquiao will TKO Adrian Broner, and I'm figuring maybe Pacquiao usually gets the job done by the 8th round. He sometimes sooner, but I think tonight with Broner in the ring with him, Pacquiao will win the fight by the 8th round by TKO. On Showtime pay-per-view, I think it starts at 9 p.m. if you're going to order and watch it. So boxing's hot. Baseball is around the corner. My other great sport, my passion for that sport is unbelievable, as you know. Spring training, pitchers and catchers, believe it or not, in 3 weeks. Question. Everyone wants to know, when will the Manny Machado and the Bryce Harper sweepstakes end? Who will get who? Nobody really knows. There's some surprise teams that are being mentioned in the mix. I will tell you this, in the New York area, that the Yankees are not out of the Machado sweepstakes, despite them picking up Tulowitzki, Troy Tulowitzki, and help me out, from the Colorado Rockies. You know what I'm talking about. They picked up two premier infielders, so you're thinking that Machado is not going to be a Yankee. I doubt he will, but they're not out of it. And the reason is because the Yankees are not going to go for $300 million, or maybe not even $275 at 6-7 years. I would think Machado's going to sign with the White Sox, so you're hearing the San Diego Padres might have swept into the picture now. Also, you're looking at Machado, Philadelphia Phillies. No, I think Harper becomes a Philly or returns to the Nationals. Last I heard, the Nationals and Harper continue the discussion, and I wouldn't rule out Harper becoming a National again. But as far as either one of those two becoming a New York Met or a New York Yankee, I would say that's not going to happen. The question also about free agency is the same situation that occurred last year, and that is there collusion among the owners and the players? Why are and it's picking up. You see more signings and free agent pickups in the last week or so. Why are free agents not being signed as quick as they used to or getting the money they expect? Well, basically, it's come down to this. The game has changed. As I've always said, analytics. You see, the agents and the general managers now, everything is analytics. It's not about how good you are. It's about the statistics and the numbers. And analytics plays a role. And there are more young people involved in the game getting employed by baseball teams, Major League Baseball, that depend, strive, use analytics. And that's why the game has changed. And that's why you're getting a late signing period. Also, that owners are not going to spend $300 million 7 years on a ball player. I think those days are over, and that's why baseball might be headed to a labor dispute because of this. Believe it or not, when the next collective bargaining agreement comes up for grabs in a year or two, I think it's next year, by the way. The game has changed. The complexion has changed. Free agency is not like it used to be. And you can blame that all on analytics. Is analytics good for the game? I'm old school. Definitely not. I don't think a player deserves a contract based on analytics. And that's what's happening today. Analytics. I'm going to give you another example. Everyone knows how close I am with Gio Gonzalez, who's coming off his contract year with the Nationals and Milwaukee Brewers, who have expressed no interest in bringing him back, either team as far as I know. Gio Gonzalez is looking for a 3-year deal in excess of $36 million, similar to what Lance Lynn got. And he's basically doesn't look like he's going to get that. He didn't have the year that he wanted to have in his walk-off year, and basically it was because of a little of this, little of that. There's nothing wrong with him health-wise, but a team doesn't want to sign a 32-year-old ball player at $36 million based on statistics of last year that went on analytics. That's what it's about. And as far as I can determine, Gio might be is a guy out there on the market that can help any team as a left-hander, including the New York Mets, who have had an interest in him for a left-handed starter with the team. But he's not going to get $36 million. He feels he deserves it because Lance Lynn got that. And even Happ got a similar type of contract with the Yankees. And the age difference of just a few years there. Gio Gonzalez is going to have to probably accept a 1-year deal to get back on track and then take another 2 because he said in 3 years he wants to retire. But it comes down again to that word analytics, and that's why players are getting certain things. Were the Lance Lynn numbers better than Gio Gonzalez? Yes, a little bit. But then you break down the categories, the statistics, or everything from the whip to the WAR, all those things they use in that term analytics for a ball player, whether it be a position or player or a pitcher. And that's why Gio is not getting the hits that he wants as far as signing on with a new team and getting the type of year that he wants. 1 year, $7 million. Yeah, I'm seeing that coming up in the cube as you're sending in your questions to me or your comments, and I thank you for your comments on this Facebook Watch Live broadcast. But that's what it might be. 1 year, $15 million, just like CC Sabathia got with the Yankees, and which he said is going to be his final year. So we'll see where that goes. But the game has changed. Again, to sum it up, complexion has changed, and there are a lot of still marquee names out there up for grabs, and they might be signing late. just like last year, which leads to questions about baseball and the owners and collusion and possibly a labor dispute before the next collective bargaining agreement is arranged. Now, Mets Yankees look like they might be done wheeling and dealing before spring training in 3 weeks. I wouldn't count the Yankees out. I'm making another move for a bullpen guy. And the Mets are, what can you say? They've been the busiest, most active team in baseball this offseason. They have improved dramatically. They are not what I think a World Series team yet. They can contend to be, but I don't think they're done getting to where they want to be under the new GM, Brody Van Wagenen. And this guy it reminds you of Brian Cashman and has made a definite impact in the limited time he's had been on the job with the Mets. And it's all for the good. The bullpen is better. Of course, they've got the closer, Edwin Diaz, now, and they re-signed Familia. They might be getting another bullpen arm. They could still do that. And maybe A.J. Pollock is still in the picture to come in and play for them in the outfield. You got to like the moves that the Mets have made to improve this team. Drastically different roster. Lineup much improved. You're going to see speed in the lineup a little bit. Maybe some Jed Rowley was a good signing, but there's an influx of infielders right now with the Mets. So I don't think they're done. I think they're still going to make another move or two, or maybe one major one before pitchers and catchers or during the spring training period. But they are an improved team, and if you're a Met fan, you have to be happy because it's not going to be the team that they left with that had a good second half and great September to finish up last season. Baseball is, again, 3 weeks from pitches and catches, and when you're in the midst of cold weather in New York City and a snowstorm is such on the way, you think about it. And you think about the green grass, the sound of the bat, crack of the ball, and the ballpark. And you think about baseball be here before you know it, an opening day. Again, big boxing night. And baseball on the way. My thoughts in the... I guess you want to know a little bit. If you have questions, shoot away. I would think the NFL playoffs have been really good. And you know what I want to see for the Super Bowl is a rematch of what we saw on Monday Night Football. And you know what I'm headed to, right? The Rams and the Chiefs. And you want to see that. It'll be another shootout. And I think it might come down to that. Those are my picks to go to the Super Bowl, by the way. So we'll see how that spans out in the conference championship games tomorrow. How about the New Jersey, the Brooklyn Nets, not the New Jersey Nets. I covered them when they were the Jersey Nets, by the way, years ago. The Brooklyn Nets. How about that team? I like the new backcourt. I like the backcourt. I like the way this team plays. They're never out of a game. I've been watching more NBA during this inactivity, and I like watching the Brooklyn Nets. I like it. I like what I see. And I think that team can secure a playoff spot. They keep this up. I'm not an NBA expert, but I'm looking and I'm seeing how this team does not quit. Sort of reminds you of some baseball teams that played here in New York a few years ago that didn't quit on the manager Terry Collins despite what everyone said. So that could be something interesting. And hockey also in the New York area is interesting because you have the New York Islanders that splitting time at the Nassau Coliseum and the Barclays Center in Brooklyn, and they seem to be like the hottest team in hockey and have secured first place in their division. And that's nice to see. So, because in the New York area, it's been dead with winter sports. When you're not talking about how bad the Jets and Giants were and not making the playoffs again. So that's interesting. But again, boxing is hot. Baseball spring training on the way, and Rich Mancuso will soon be back full force, 100% to talk to you. Now, a question about Jose Reyes. I don't know. I would think Jose Reyes has got to fight to get on a team. And then there was another question from David. David, when One of me and Jody Mack making a comeback? Probably never. But a reunion we had talked about to do one reunion